Hey, what's going on, everyone? Axel here. So, you might have heard about the recent news concerning United Airlines, and it's a big story right now, and it's something that affected me personally, and I wanted to talk about it. So, if you don't know, very recently on United Airlines, there was a incident involving a passenger. What happened was a flight was boarded and it was booked, completely booked full. United, after having boarded the flight, decided that they wanted to move a handful of their staff, I think it was four of their staff, to a different city. So they wanted to put these four staff members on this flight. However, the flight was already booked and it was already filled. The passengers were actually inside the airline and seated. And I think the flight was something around $200. What they did initially is they came on the flight and they offered four people, basically said anyone who wants to give up their seat, we will give you $400, and give you, I think it was also $400 plus hotel and whatever, just to stay in the city they were in temporarily and to get on a later flight. Nobody on the airplane accepted that. No one wanted to give up their seat, so the airline increased the offer to $800. So $800 hotel, give up your seat now, but you'll get on a later flight. Like, I don't know when, like the next day, presumably. Again, no one on the airplane took the offer. So what United did, and this is where it gets really messed up, they randomly selected four people and just kicked them off the airplane. Three of them presumably got off when they were asked to leave. They got up and left, but one person refused to leave, refused to give up their seat, and this person was a doctor. And just see for yourself what happened. Here's the footage.
Can't they rent a car for the pilots and have them drive? No! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! No! Oh my Guys, my God! What are you doing? No, this is wrong. Oh my God! Look at what you did to him! Oh my God!
So, as you can tell, that was very disturbing footage. This guy was forcibly taken off of his seat and dragged off the airplane. And during that process, it looks like when the security went to grab him and pull him back, his head somehow hit the arm of the chair in the opposite aisle, which presumably, I believe, gave him, according to some articles I read, gave him head trauma. And of course, you can see there that blood was all over his face and he was dragged off the airplane. It looked like he was unconscious. So this is a huge moral dilemma. And a lot of people are really upset, very, very justifyingly so, at United Airlines. You have people saying they'll never fly on United again. They want an apology. But what this really boils down to is the question, a couple legal questions. Before we get into the legal stuff, though, we have to talk about morally. Morally, this is just not acceptable. It just doesn't make sense to me that as a business, you would treat your customers this way. It just doesn't make sense. But it comes down to a legal question, essentially. And I've been trying to do research on this today and trying to figure out if they legally had the right to do what they did. And this is essentially what I found, and I didn't find an answer to all my questions. If you're a lawyer maybe, and you want to comment below, please comment below and let me know. But what I found is that they do have the right to remove you from a flight, just as many airlines would do. It's a very common thing for airlines to bump you, to move you to a different flight. But the legal question is, do they have the right to remove you once you are in the airplane and seated? That is the conundrum I've been facing in my little bit of research I've done today. Some people are saying that yes, they still have the right to remove you once seated. Others are saying no, the airline forfeits its rights to remove a customer once that customer is in the airplane and seated. And that's what it really comes down to, because if they let's talk let's approach each scenario. Scenario one is that they did not have, or they did have. Actually, let's say they did not have the legal right to remove the customer. Uh, that means that they're in a like shitload of trouble here, because not only did they injure this guy in removing him, they didn't have the right to remove him in the first place. So I'm assuming this guy can sue United for like his case will be more substantial than if it's the other thing happens. I think United's kind of screwed either way, but this is definitely the worst of the two scenarios. The other scenario is that they did have the right to remove him. In that case, if that's the case, that United did have the right, even after seating the passengers, to remove the passenger of this guy, then he should have left, and that's that's really that part of it at least is his fault. Now, please don't try and I don't want to make that sound, and I was trying to be really careful with my wording because I don't want to make it sound like this is acceptable. I'm saying is legally he's in the wrong in that that part of this issue, this situation. I'm not saying that what United did was morally correct. It's not. I'm not saying that United had the right to drag the guy off and physically assault him. No, I think either way, they clearly went beyond the realm of what they physically can do to remove somebody. I mean, when someone's physically removed, they should not be assaulted. They should have been able to remove the guy without injuring him. So whether this is true or not, they should not have pulled him out and just bashed his head against the other seat like that. That was totally unacceptable. But in the end, it doesn't really matter what situation, which side of the situation it is, if they legally had the right to remove him or not once he was seated. The bottom line is it was a dumb move either way, and it was morally wrong either way. What they should have done is what I think their policy should be is they keep offering more and more money as an incentive, and they have to have some limit at some point. I admit maybe after the $800 offer they could have offered $1,000, and maybe after that they do stop making offers. If still no one accepts at that point, I think at that point what the airline should do is bite the bullet and sorry, they can't move their staff that day. And I don't know what the implications of that is, but I'm sure it's not as damaging to the operations of the airline as potentially assaulting and injuring a passenger trying to remove them. Whether they have the legal right or not, the moral implications and the PR implications are certainly worse than maybe a flight in a neighboring city not having an extra stewardess on there, whatever. Or maybe having to delay that flight while another pilot perhaps can get there and serve as a co-pilot. Maybe a delay would have to happen to wait for more staff, or maybe someone would have to be called in, or maybe someone would have to work overtime. Either way, I'm sure the implications weren't as bad as these implications, and I just find it hard to believe that United would have a policy that if no one accepts the second offer, then you just physically drag a paying customer off the airline. I just can't believe that is their policy. And I feel like, and I don't know for sure, and this is just me guessing, but I think that what probably happened is you had some kind of, what I think probably may have happened is you have some stuck up, some arrogant guy in charge at that particular airline who went ahead and told security to pull this guy off, even though it may not be the policy of United. I don't know if it is or not. Please correct me if it's not. But I just find it hard to believe that United actually has a policy written down that they would physically pull a paying customer who has done nothing wrong off the airline once seated. I just can't believe that their policy isn't that they themselves wouldn't bite the bullet and just accept the fact that, okay, we're not moving our staff today, or okay, we're gonna have to offer up more money. We'll have to go to $1,000 or $1,200 until someone accepts. I just find it hard to believe that their policy isn't to stop at a certain point or to just keep offering higher and higher amounts of money until someone accepts it. And I understand if they have some cap that they can offer like ridiculous amounts of money, but I have to believe that they could have gone up a lot more. I mean, they're a big company. I'm like giving a couple $1,000s or whatever to a passenger to give up their seat wouldn't sink them by any means. So, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I just wanted to give my thoughts on the situation. Please comment below and let me know what you think about the situation. And I'll put a link to the full video down below in the description if you want to check it out, to the actual event that transpired of the guy actually being pulled off the airplane. I know I showed a clip of it in this video, but if you want to see the full thing, it's there. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please share, like, and subscribe and all that if you want to see more videos from me in the future. That's all for today. You all have a good one. Take care.